I'm Russ Mitchell, looking for answers. Authorities investigating an Ohio woman's murder seek clues about the cause and the reason for her death. Campaign cash, who's up and who's down in the race for the White House as another fundraising deadline nears. The Ultimate Insider, new details about the way Vice President Cheney operates behind the scenes.
This is the CBS Evening News with Russ Mitchell.
And good evening. It is now official. Authorities have confirmed the body police in Ohio discovered yesterday in a field is that of Jessie Davis, the 26-year-old 9-month pregnant woman who had been missing since June 13th. Tonight, her boyfriend, a police officer, remains in jail. His first court date is set for tomorrow, and there is late word of a second arrest in the case. Bianca Solorzano is in Canton, Ohio tonight.
At this Akron, Ohio church, what was supposed to be a Sunday mass to pray for Jessie Davis's safe return became a forum for grief, a community in pain, less than a day after the news that the 26-year-old pregnant mother about to give birth was found dead.
What do you say? How do you deal with something like this? It's been very difficult.
Across town, more prayers from the family of Canton police officer Bobby Cutts Jr., the man accused of killing Jessie Davis, who was his girlfriend and her unborn child.
So you've known Bobby since he's a child?
Yeah, a child, yes.
If you could talk with him now, what would you say to him?
Oh, Bobby, what happened?
At this point, Canton Sheriff's deputies aren't saying much about what happened to Davis. She was last heard from on June 13th. When Davis's mother went to check on her 2 days later, she found Davis and Cut's 2-year-old son home alone, a place ripped apart. The little boy told police, "Mommy broke the table. Mommy's in the rug." The search for Davis grew daily, with thousands of volunteers canvassing Ohio forests, farms, and neighborhoods.
She's my sister, and it's breaking my heart that we don't know where she is.
Saturday afternoon, Davis's body was found in Cuyahoga National Park, about 25 miles from her home. Cutts was arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder. FBI and Stark County Sheriff's deputies are also investigating whether Cutts had any help in the alleged murder or possible cover-up. FBI and Sheriff's deputies have been looking into whether Cutts had any help in this alleged murder or possible cover-up. And now this late arrest of Maisha Farrell. We do know that they had visited her apartment throughout the week, and then last night they burst into her home. A neighbor tells us that they left with several boxes, including cleaning supplies and bleach. She is arrested, facing 1 charge of obstruction of justice. She will be arraigned tomorrow on that 1 charge. Cutts will be arraigned tomorrow, facing 2 counts of murder. We do know that the 2 are former classmates. Russ?
Bianca Solorzano in Canton, Ohio. Thank you very much. It is another big week in the race for the White House. Both parties are gearing up for a major money push over the next few days as the deadline for second quarter fundraising approaches. That deadline is next Saturday, and as Joey Chen tells us, it could mean the beginning of the end for some presidential dreams.
In what amounts to a presidential phone-a-thon, GOP contender Mitt Romney will once again be dialing for dollars tomorrow.
Dial 9.
He's on target to beat a magic number, $37 million, what George W. Bush raised in the same period of his first run for president.
The indications that we're hearing from his camp is that he's going to have another impressive fundraising quarter in the second quarter, and so that means this is for real.
Romney raked in more than $23 million in the first quarter, besting his closest rival, former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, by a cool $7 million. This week's deadline may be critical for laggards in the money game, North Carolina Democrat John Edwards and one-time GOP frontrunner Senator John McCain. He's already lowering expectations.
That to me is saying something is not quite right with this candidacy because he is well known. He should have the organization. The fact that the money's not coming in is symptomatic of larger questions about his candidacy.
And that's before he officially has to deal with Fred Thompson or billionaire Michael Bloomberg, who won't have to dial anybody for dollars.
I don't think it's a bad thing to have someone else in the process, and I certainly don't think it's a bad thing to have someone like Mike Bloomberg who can self-fund and basically talk about major issues bothering voters in this country.
But it's getting more expensive to have that conversation. About half the states are now committed to holding their primaries or caucuses by early February. That has changed the whole campaign calendar, the whole campaign strategy. and explains why, Russ, that money is more important than ever.
Joey Chen at the White House, thank you very much. A changing of the guard in Great Britain this Sunday. Outgoing Prime Minister Tony Blair handed over leadership of his Labour Party today to the man who becomes Prime Minister this week. Elizabeth Palmer has more on the transfer of power and what it could mean for the White House.
Prime Minister Tony Blair welcomed his successor, Gordon Brown, with a clap on the back, ending an era in British politics.
I accept the privilege and the great responsibility of leading our party and changing our country.
Brown has already been running Britain's booming economy for a decade, ever since back in 1997, when Blair won a landslide election victory.
A new dawn has broken, has it not?
He ran a largely popular and effective government until the invasion of Iraq. Blair volunteering British troops earned him a standing ovation in Washington.
Mr. Prime Minister, can I buy you dinner? Certainly.
But a new nickname at home, Bush's Poodle. With his popularity in freefall, Tony Blair accepted it was finally time to hand over to Gordon Brown, even though it was clear the two men had grown apart. Brown, the sober Scot, uncomfortable with Blair's slickness and spin. In the run-up to taking office, Gordon Brown has worked hard to keep expectations low. He's offered no promises because he knows his first task is to regain the public confidence that Tony Blair has lost. After that, Brown will turn his attention overseas, where the relationship with America in particular is likely to cool.
It's always been Britain's tradition to stay close to the White House, but I think we'll see a certain caution after the disaster of the Iraq War.
Gordon Brown inherits the fallout of that war and the rest of Tony Blair's legacy on Wednesday, when he becomes officially Prime Minister Brown. Elizabeth Palmer, CBS News, London.
Turning to power relations in America, Vice President Dick Cheney claimed last week that he is not bound by executive branch secrecy rules because he is not really part of the executive branch. Joining us is reporter Barton Gelman of the Washington Post, which today began a four-part series on the vice president, the result of a year-long investigation. Bart, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
In today's piece, you say that Cheney's influence in the Bush administration is widely presumed but hard to illustrate. From your investigation, just how powerful is this vice president?
He has had a dominant role across the board in U.S. government policy in places where people didn't know, in sifting Supreme Court nominees, deciding budget and tax policy, in setting environmental regulations, along with the better-known ones on energy and national security.
In the piece also, you kind of illustrate how he's able to circumvent the process to get things done. How did he put himself in this position from day one and even before that?
Well, President Bush put him in this position by making him his closest confidant. They have lunch once a week. The vice president brings him a piece of paper. The president likes it. He signs it. The rest of the cabinet, the rest of the White House staff may or may not know.
The vice president has butted heads with Colin Powell, with Condoleezza Rice, with Donald Rumsfeld. How much of a polarizing figure is he in the Bush administration?
Well, anyone who has that much influence is always going to draw opposition. That happens in any administration. He has been probably the most polarizing figure in this administration.
Dick Cheney refused to talk to you for this series of reports. If you had a chance to ask him one question, what did you want to ask him?
I would love to ask him what he thought history's verdict would be on him and why, because history's is the only verdict he cares about.
And what do you think the answer to that question would be?
I'm glad I'm a reporter and not a historian. He cares a lot about executive authority. We'll have to see whether, in the end, he increased the president's power or not.
All right, Bart. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, great expectations for the iPhone, America's next high-tech toy.
For pain across your whole back, Icy Hot has it covered.
New Icy Hot Extra Large Patch starts icy to dull the pain, then hot to relax it away. For up to 8 hours of relief across your whole back.
Icy Hot has it covered.
Icy Hot XL. XL relief for XL pain.
Wouldn't you know it? One moment we're on the road to romance, when suddenly it gets interrupted. That's why for guys like me with ED, there's Cialis. Cialis is the only erectile dysfunction tablet clinically proven to both go to work fast in as little as 30 minutes for some men and work up to 36 hours. The fact that Cialis can work fast is great, but having up to 36 hours gives me the option of being ready once the moment is finally right.
Tell your doctor about your medical conditions and all medications, and ask if you're healthy enough for sexual activity. Don't take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Don't drink alcohol in excess with Cialis. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help if you experience priapism, an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease in vision, stop taking Cialis and call your doctor right away.
Why ask your doctor about Cialis? Because even after an interruption, you can still be ready.
When the moment is right, you can be ready with Cialis.
It's really not so surprising that people can't always eat right. They just have too much on their plate to think about what they should put on their plate. Delicious Ensure. It's a source of complete balanced nutrition to have at breakfast or lunch or as a pick-me-up anytime. So when you can't eat right, eat smart. Drink Ensure. Nutrition for a healthier you. Try the new terrific taste of Ensure. Rich and creamy. It's more delicious than ever.
It fuels our lives and creates the products we depend on. It powers our workforce. It brings us home and gives us warmth. It lets us travel the earth and reach for the sky. Vital for life, too precious to waste. Oil and natural gas. Together, let's use it wisely. Learn more at energytomorrow.org.
If you use those over-the-counter drops several times a day, you may have chronic dry eye due to decreased tear production without knowing it, like me. And my doctor prescribed Restasis.
With continued use, Restasis helps increase your natural ability to produce tears, which may be reduced by inflammation due to chronic dry eye. It should not be used by patients with active eye infections and has not been studied in patients with a history of herpes viral infections of the eye. The most common side effect is a temporary burning sensation.
More of my own tears. Thanks, Restasis.
Tennis Serenity underwear has always kept you protected, feeling fresh, and enjoying life. So coming up with our new look was only natural.
In Iraq, Ali Hassan al-Majid, better known as Chemical Ali, and 2 other former Saddam henchmen were sentenced to hang today. A cousin of Saddam, it was al-Majid who masterminded the use of poison gas in a brutal crackdown against Iraqi Kurds in the 1980s. And in southern Lebanon, a suicide bomber targeted UN peacekeepers near the Israeli border. 6 soldiers were killed, 3 others wounded when the bomber wrecked their armored personnel carrier. Back in this country, the era of the Apple iPhone is almost upon us. The frenzy is building toward Friday when the new triple threat gadget goes on sale nationwide. And Apple has a lot riding in its reception, as we hear from Tony Guida.
It may be the most hype about anything since Adam promised Eve a rose garden. The iPhone. It's your phone, your video, your music, all wrapped in the sexiest skin the dreamweavers at Apple could conjure up.
It works like magic.
It may also be the biggest gamble ever for Apple's CEO.
Steve Jobs is betting the company on this.
Financial Times columnist Cody Willard, also a money manager, has seen iPhone buzz drive Apple shares up 30% in the past 3 months. Consumer interest is so hot that AT&T hired 2,000 extra workers to staff its stores when the phone comes out on Friday. All this for a product no one has seen or touched.
That's why there's so much risk here.
Apple has worked hard to manage that risk.
They've told us a new little nugget of information every day to keep us on edge, to keep us interested.
Like the screen will not be scratchable plastic, but optical glass. That iPhone will play YouTube. That the battery will last 8 hours, not 5, talk time. That announcement alone drove Apple stock up nearly 4%.
It's getting more hype than the second coming of Christ.
Dennis Neal of Forbes magazine admits the ads and the hype have converted him from an iPhone doubter to a believer. Nonetheless, he thinks the gadget has a fatal flaw.
It doesn't have raised buttons that you can feel. These buttons are drawn onto the screen, and while that's amazing technology and it makes a geek really happy and impressed, for us who just want to be able to kind of dial a number while we drive the car, that's going to be a pain.
The price may be a pain too, $500 and $600, and the fact that iPhone is exclusive with AT&T. But the wireless industry is more than 10 times the size of the digital music player market that Apple now dominates. The profit, should iPhone succeed, would be staggering. Question is, are 270 million cell phone users ready for Jobs' glittering but pricey revolution? Russ?
$600. Boy. Yeah. All right, I'll take two. Thank you very much, Tony. Just ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, a disturbing look inside a troubled Los Angeles prison.
This season, replace the feeling of red, itchy, irritated skin fast with the healing feeling of Cortisone 10. It has 10 healing moisturizers plus the strongest itch relief medicine without a prescription. All day, all night, feel the heal of Cortisone 10.
Tennis Serenity has kept you feeling fresh and staying active. And now there's a brand new look that's as fresh as you feel.
It was so frustrating, like a mystery I couldn't solve. Night after night, strange sensations in my legs kept me from falling asleep. So I had to get up and move when all I wanted to do was rest.
I had restless leg syndrome. My doctor confirmed it.
He said with restless leg syndrome, the symptoms usually get worse at night or in the evening when it's time to relax.
And then he said something else. Requip.
He said Requip would help relieve those RLS symptoms that kept me from getting to sleep.
He told me what to watch for, that Requip may cause you to fall asleep or feel very sleepy during normal activities such as driving, or to faint or feel dizzy when you stand up. Tell your doctor if you experience these problems, or if you drink alcohol or are taking medicines that make you drowsy. Side effects include nausea, drowsiness, vomiting, and dizziness. Most patients were not bothered enough to stop taking Requip. Thanks to Requip, the RLS mystery is not keeping me up anymore. Ask your doctor if Requip can help put your RLS to rest.
Sitting still isn't for us. That's why I got a pain reliever for my arthritis pain. And then I got another pain reliever just for my aching shoulder. You know, for different pains, I actually had different pain relievers. But not anymore. Now I'm all Advil. It's my every pain reliever. Advil works wherever I hurt. And nothing's proven stronger on tough pain. So whatever hurts, I can swing it. 'Cause I'm all Advil.
For NASCAR drivers, blocking is a way to stay ahead of the pack. For me, blocking is how I stay a step ahead of frequent heartburn. Prilosec OTC blocks heartburn before it even begins with 1 pill a day. So I can enjoy my day and my evening without worrying about frequent heartburn kicking up. Zero heartburn for 24 hours with 1 pill a day. That's my Prilosec OTC.
Was he a hero, or...
He was a rat, he was a traitor, he let his unit down.
You decide. 60 Minutes tonight.
This week, get on the road to financial freedom. We've got great advice from paying off all your debt to avoiding the most dangerous money myths. This week on The Early Show.
Among other things, the Paris Hilton case has put the spotlight on an overburdened prison ward for the mentally ill. And one look at conditions there shows why some communities are turning to a different approach. Jerry Bowen has details, and we caution you, some of the sights and sounds in this report are disturbing.
The Los Angeles County Jail Mental Ward. With 2,000 inmates, it's America's largest public mental health facility.
It's a complete abuse of the criminal justice system to have mentally ill people in it.
With his deputies turned into caretakers and cells meant for violent criminals filled by the confused, Los Angeles County Sheriff Lee Baca is frustrated.
How are we as a society going to help these people knowing full well that they're very incapacitated and often unable to care for themselves?
There is an alternative to warehousing the mentally ill. In Northern California, there's a program that takes inmates as sick or sicker than these and puts them back on medication and back on the street. It's called mental health court.
There are no free passes out of jail.
Tough-talking, tough-looking Judge Stephen Manley, with a patch over an old eye injury, oversees 800 defendants in his special San Jose court. Most are addicted and mentally ill.
Sure, you're disabled, but that doesn't mean you can't live a full life.
They're mostly nonviolent felony and misdemeanor offenders who work their way from county jail to closely supervised probation.
We are protecting the public far more than simply placing a defendant on probation and ignoring them and waiting for the next crime to happen.
That strict probation includes group home living, mandatory drug tests, AA or Narcotics Anonymous meetings, and frequent progress reports to the judge. In this court, the largest of 130 nationwide, defendants are given tough love and compassion.
Still talk fast.
Still talk fast.
But I try people to tell me, when people tell me and correct me on it, I try to say, okay, well, slow down.
They are also given a choice: stay clean, stay on the right medication, and they can stay out of jail.
Do you think you can maintain until then? Okay, because the only real alternative I have is to have you go to jail.
Case in point, this was Rick Dargan 18 months ago, schizophrenic, sweating off a heroin binge, charged with possession and begging for help. And Rick Dargan now, at age 47, back in high school, off illegal drugs and on medication to stabilize his mood swings.
I owe everything I've got right now to those people in that mental health court.
The man who once lived under a bridge is now clean and sober.
I was a violent person. I'm nonviolent now.
The program saves money, too. Graduates have spared the state and county more than $23 million in jail and prison costs. And it can save lives. Just ask Rick Dargan.
I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Lucky, too, that unlike the estimated tens of thousands of mentally ill behind bars across America, he had his day in a very special court.
The answer is to believe in yourself and try.
Jerry Bowen, CBS News, San Jose.
And just ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, no child left inside. One state tells a whole generation to take a hike.
I'm Karen Ross, and this is my story. I love to knit. I do use my hands a lot, and I am very active. The only hard part I have knitting is when my arthritis kicks in. When I try to leave, it was like the answer to my prayers. It really was. I really didn't think that an over-the-counter tablet would give me the kind of relief that I was looking for. But boy, was I wrong. It made a difference in all the things that I am now able to do that I couldn't do before. My life is good, and Aleve makes it better. It really does.
The Hyundai Azera Limited has a luxurious leather-trimmed interior. So does the Lexus LS460. The Azera has a premium 10-speaker 6-CD audio system. The Lexus does too. The Azera has dual-zone automatic climate control. The Lexus does as well. However, the Lexus can parallel park itself. And the Azera can't. But at half the price, you can easily afford to have someone park the Azera for you.
The Hyundai Azera, winner of Strategic Vision's Total Quality Award.
If only an apple a day was all you actually needed. Fortunately, Walgreens has thousands of locations, many open 24 hours, with the medicine your family needs.
Having a bladder control problem is bad enough. What makes it worse is the constant worry. The worry that your problem is as obvious as if you'd announced it to the world. But the good news is overactive bladder is a real medical condition. The symptoms can be treated. And the great news? There's one brand doctors prescribe more than any other, Detrol LA. With just one pill, Detrol LA works 24 hours, all day and all night, to help calm the bladder muscle that causes those frequent sudden urges. If you have certain stomach problems, glaucoma, or trouble getting urine to pass, you shouldn't take Detrol LA. The most common side effects are dry mouth, headache, constipation, and abdominal pain. All medicines have benefits and risks, and there may be other options, so ask your doctor if Detrol LA is right for you. When you find something that can help calm your bladder, imagine what that can do for you.
I've heard so much about you.
Detrol LA helps keep an overactive bladder quieter.
Does this newborn baby look like a lifesaver? She may already be one. Her parents are saving her cord blood, and that could save the life of her brother, sister, or another child. Is it something you should do? An Eye on Your Health report every family must see. Monday on the CBS Evening News with Katie Curran.
Nature-loving adults are always looking for ways to get kids off the couch and out of doors. Now one state believes it may have found the answer. Sandra Hughes walks us through it.
This is called a switchback. When a trail switches like that, it's like a U-turn almost.
For these Los Angeles middle school students, a trip into nature is anything but natural. Have you been hiking like this before?
No, it's really fun being out here.
They may live just a half an hour from here, but on a school-sponsored trip, it's evident that's a world away.
It kind of scares me to think of a country where none of the kids or the youth or the adults of tomorrow have a connection with the outside world or nature.
From 1997 to 2003, there was a 50% decline in the time kids spent on outside activities, other than organized sports. For urban kids like 12-year-old Andrew Ayala, it's not for lack of trying.
There's not a lot of trees, and there's always cars passing by, so you can't really play outside.
Andrew's mom battles distractions like video games and TV to get him outside.
Them being outdoors, it puts their minds somewhere else. They focus on something different, something positive.
Experts have agreed with Andrew's mom for decades, warning an entire generation was growing up disconnected from nature. Now it appears the government is listening, promising $1.2 million toward programs to get kids outside. Here in California, legislators are working on a No Child Left Inside law.
Playing outside gives you a certain sense of confidence. You know, going down to your local stream and having to go on a bike ride.
Andrew has already learned a lesson he's going to share with his friends about why it's important to spend time outside.
When they grow older and if they have a job, they'll think about what they're doing, what people are doing, like destroying nature, and how beautiful it is.
Stay on the trail, please.
And that's a lesson most kids need more than a book to learn. Sandra Hughes, CBS News, Los Angeles.
We'll be back.
Fight crow's feet on your arms. Fight lash lines on your legs. New Olay Age Transform Body Cream Serum and Skin Tone Equalizer. 2 ways to fight the look of body aging with antioxidant power. New from Olay.
You need 60 cupcakes for tomorrow?
And here's more news. There's a new best bounty ever. It's our most absorbent yet. And so durable, one sheet keeps working till the job's done. New Bounty.
Mosquitoes? Don't soak yourself with a sticky wet repellent. Stay dry with new Off Smooth and Dry. Its unique cornstarch formula dries on contact, so it's comfortable on your skin, unlike ordinary repellents. Feel the difference.
Wow.
With new Off Family Care Smooth and Dry. Feels good on, keeps bugs off. S.C. Johnson, a family company.
And finally this Sunday, we once again may be seeing scenes like this of Prince William with Kate Middleton, if today's British newspapers are to be believed. The papers say the two are back together 2 months after their reported breakup. And that's the CBS Evening News. Later on CBS 60 Minutes, the soldier who exposed the Abu Ghraib prison scandal. Thanks for joining us this Sunday evening. I'm Russ Mitchell, CBS News in New York. Good night.
Was he a hero or...
He was a rat, he was a traitor, he let his unit down.
You decide. 60 Minutes tonight.
CBS News. See it now, anytime, anywhere.
Next on CBS 2 News at 6, police make a new arrest in the Jesse Davis murder case.
Plus a big mess at LAX. Water pipes burst, showering flyers and delaying planes.
It was a beautiful day here in the Southland. Cooler temperatures. I'll tell you if those cool temperatures will last.
And hundreds rally for immigrant rights here in Southern California.
Those stories plus sports are all next on CBS 2 News at 6.
A portion of the program is brought to you by Flex Your Power. Remember, you can save energy, money, and the planet with energy-efficient lighting and cooling. For rebates and tips, visit flexyourpower.org.
How much are you willing to pay for happiness? At KiaMatch.com, we can help you find a life partner through our compatibility program. It's so easy. It's got everyone talking.
They matched me with a great deal on the fuel-efficient Kia Spectra, complete with a